In a distant corner of the galaxy, where stars burned cold and planets drifted like forgotten relics, the Vorthek Empire reigned supreme. Their massive warships cut through the void with terrifying efficiency, conquering worlds without mercy or hesitation. To them, domination was not just a goal, it was their destiny. Entire civilizations had fallen under their iron grip, reduced to colonies feeding the Empire's insatiable hunger for resources and power. Admiral Crix stood on the bridge of his flagship, Vengeance's Shadow, staring at the holographic display hovering before him. The image showed a small blue-green planet nestled in the outer reaches of explored space, a speck of dust among the infinite stars. Earth. It had been flagged by scouts as an easy target, a primitive world with no energy signatures indicating advanced technology or orbital defenses. A silent planet, one officer had called it during the briefing. Silent and defenseless. Crix allowed himself a rare smile. This mission would be swift, efficient, and uneventful. His fleet consisted of 15 heavily armed cruisers, each capable of obliterating entire cities with a single volley. They were accompanied by swarms of fighter drones and smaller scout ships designed to suppress any resistance before it could even begin. For decades, humanity had remained blissfully unaware of the vast universe beyond their skies. Now they would learn the hard way that ignorance offered no protection. On Earth, life went on as usual. People woke up, went to work, and scrolled through their phones, oblivious to the storm gathering above them. In bustling cities like Tokyo, New York, and Mumbai, traffic clogged the streets while pedestrians hurried along sidewalks. Farmers tilled fields under the morning sun, and children played soccer in dusty village squares. No alarms blared, no warnings flashed across screens. The planet breathed quietly, its people unaware of the shadow creeping closer. High above the atmosphere, the Vorthek fleet emerged from hyperspace with a flash of light invisible to human eyes. The ships aligned themselves in perfect formation, their sleek black hulls glinting menacingly against the backdrop of space. On board Vengeance's Shadow, communications officers prepared to broadcast the standard ultimatum: surrender or face annihilation. There was never any doubt about how these encounters ended. Most species chose submission rather than risk destruction. Others tried to fight and were crushed within hours. Humanity, however, wasn't even expected to put up a token resistance. "Begin transmission," Crix ordered, his voice calm but commanding. The signal pulsed outward, carrying the Vorthek language encoded in every known frequency. While the invaders waited for a response, sensors scanned the planet below. Forests, oceans, sprawling urban centers, all appeared ordinary, primitive. Nothing suggested this species possessed the means to challenge the Empire. Confidence rippled through the crew. Another victory was inevitable. But deep beneath the icy expanse of Antarctica, something stirred, hidden far from prying eyes. Buried under layers of rock and snow, ancient machinery hummed faintly to life. Decades earlier, scientists had discovered remnants of an alien artifact there, its purpose unknown until years of study unlocked its secrets. What they found changed everything. Humanity may have seemed defenseless, but appearances could be deceiving. As panic spread across Earth following the mysterious transmission, select teams activated hidden bunkers containing weapons born from reverse-engineered alien tech. Shimmering energy shields sprang up around major cities, unnoticed by anyone except those who knew they existed. The Vortheks thought Earth was silent, but silence didn't mean weakness, and soon they would learn the truth the hard way. Far away, Admiral Crix leaned back in his command chair, confident in his superiority. He had no idea what awaited him. The Vorthek fleet loomed menacingly in orbit around Earth, their ships casting long shadows across the planet's surface as they blocked out patches of sunlight. For hours, the invaders had broadcast their ultimatum, a chilling demand for surrender across every frequency imaginable. Humanity remained silent, either unable to decipher the alien language or paralyzed by fear. Admiral Crix, seated on the bridge of Vengeance's shadow, tapped his clawed fingers impatiently against the armrest of his command chair. This delay was unacceptable. Primitive species like humans should have been groveling by now. Perhaps they don't understand us, suggested Lieutenant Sink, a slender officer with sharp features and glowing green eyes. She adjusted her visor, scanning the data streaming across her console. Their technology is rudimentary at best. They might not even comprehend our transmission. Crix snarled, baring rows of jagged teeth. It doesn't matter if they understand. Fear alone should drive them to submit. Every other species we've encountered has cowered before us. Why are these creatures different? Before anyone could answer, an unexpected signal interrupted the silence. Across Earth, amateur radio operators, enthusiasts who spent their free time tinkering with old equipment, had intercepted fragments of the Vorthek message. At first, it sounded like static, but careful analysis revealed patterns. Someone uploaded the decoded text online. Surrender or face annihilation. The word spread like wildfire, sparking panic and confusion worldwide. News outlets scrambled to report the discovery. In living rooms, offices, and public squares, people gathered around televisions and smartphones, watching live footage of massive alien ships hovering above Earth. Social media erupted with theories, prayers, and cries of disbelief. Governments convened emergency meetings, trying to make sense of the situation. Military leaders stared at radar screens showing unidentified objects in orbit, unsure how to respond. Humanity wasn't prepared for this, not militarily, not psychologically. High above, the Vortex monitored Earth's reaction. Sensors detected increased activity in cities, spikes in communication traffic, and mass gatherings. But still, no official reply came. Frustrated, Crix decided to escalate. He ordered a demonstration strike against one of Earth's largest urban centers, New York City. If humanity refused to acknowledge their presence, perhaps a show of force would get their attention. As the targeting systems locked onto Manhattan, something extraordinary happened. Just moments before the energy beams reached the atmosphere, shimmering barriers materialized over the city. The lasers struck the shields and dissipated harmlessly into space, leaving the skyscrapers untouched. A collective gasp rippled through the Vorthek crew. Shields. Primitive species weren't supposed to have shields. What sorcery is this? Crix roared, slamming his fist onto the control panel. His confidence wavered for the first time. How could such backward beings possess technology capable of countering Vorthek weapons? Back on Earth, chaos gave way to awe. Millions watched as the alien attack fizzled against invisible defenses. News anchors struggled to explain what had just occurred. Speculation ran rampant. Were these shields some secret military project? Had governments known about extraterrestrial threats all along? Amid the uncertainty, hope began to take root. If Earth could withstand one attack, maybe it could withstand more. Deep within hidden bunkers, scientists and engineers celebrated quietly. Project Aegis, the culmination of decades of research inspired by ancient alien artifacts, was working perfectly. These energy shields were only the beginning. Beneath the surface, plasma cannons powered up, ready to retaliate. Humanity may have been caught off guard, but it wasn't defenseless. On board Vengeance's shadow, Crix clenched his jaw. Whatever tricks these humans had up their sleeves, he vowed to crush them. Yet deep down, doubt gnawed at him. For centuries, the Vorthek Empire had faced no real opposition. Now, staring at those shimmering barriers, Crix realized something unsettling. Humanity was unlike any foe they'd ever encountered. Beneath the icy expanse of Antarctica, miles away from the chaos unfolding in cities around the globe, a secret that had been buried for decades finally came to light. In a vast underground facility known only as Site Omega, rows of humming machines and glowing control panels illuminated dimly lit corridors. The air was cold, sterile, and electric with tension. Here, humanity's greatest minds had worked tirelessly, piecing together fragments of an ancient alien artifact discovered during a routine geological survey years ago. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the lead scientist overseeing Project Aegis, stood at the center of the command hub. Her dark eyes scanned the monitors displaying real-time data from Earth's newly activated defense systems. Around her, technicians moved with precision, their faces pale but determined. For years, they had theorized about what the artifact could do. Its strange alloys, intricate circuits, and enigmatic energy signatures hinted at technology far beyond human understanding. Now, it wasn't just theory anymore. It was reality. "Shields holding steady," one technician called out, his voice trembling slightly. "Energy level stable." Elena nodded, though her heart raced. She knew the stakes. If these shields failed, billions would die. But she also knew something the Vortex didn't. Humanity had more than just shields. Reverse engineering the artifact had unlocked secrets no one thought possible. Energy weapons, advanced propulsion systems, even rudimentary cloaking devices, all inspired by the alien tech now integrated into Earth's arsenal. Decades earlier, when the artifact was first unearthed, governments worldwide had debated whether to go public with the discovery. Transparency might have united humanity under a common cause, but secrecy offered another advantage: time. Instead of panicking or squabbling over resources, nations quietly pooled their knowledge and funding into Project Aegis. They built hidden bunkers, developed cutting-edge weaponry, and trained elite teams to operate them, all while pretending Earth remained vulnerable. Now those preparations were paying off. As the Vorthek fleet hovered menacingly above, unaware of the full extent of Earth's capabilities, Site Omega sprang into action. Massive power grids deep beneath the surface surged to life, channeling geothermal energy into the shield generators protecting major cities. Plasma cannons positioned in strategic locations powered up, ready to strike back. Autonomous drones equipped with alien-inspired propulsion systems launched silently into the atmosphere, awaiting orders. Meanwhile, on the surface, ordinary citizens began noticing subtle changes. In New York City, where the initial attack had been thwarted, people stared skyward at the shimmering barrier that had saved them. Social media buzzed with theories about government conspiracies and secret military projects. Some speculated that aliens had helped humanity prepare for this moment. Others dismissed it as luck or divine intervention. Few guessed the truth, that humanity itself had engineered its salvation. Back at Site Omega, Elena turned to General Marcus Hale, the grizzled military commander overseeing Project Aegis's combat operations. His gray hair and weathered face made him look older than his years, but his sharp blue eyes betrayed a fierce determination. "How long until we're ready to retaliate?" he asked, his voice low and urgent. "Weapons are online, sir," Elena replied. "But we need to be smart about this. If we reveal everything at once, they'll adapt. We hit hard, then pull back and let them wonder what else we've got." Hale nodded grimly. "Understood. Let's show them we're not the easy target they think we are." As they spoke, the first wave of plasma cannons fired, targeting smaller Vortex scout ships patrolling near Earth's orbit. Bright streaks of energy tore through space, obliterating several vessels before the invaders could react. On board Vengeance's Shadow, Admiral Crix watched in stunned disbelief as his forces took losses for the first time in centuries. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was fighting back. Deep within Site Omega, Elena allowed herself a small smile. The Vorthax had underestimated humanity, and they were about to pay the price. Admiral Crix's claws dug into the armrest of his command chair as he stared at the holographic display showing the destruction of 3 Vortex scout ships. Plasma bolts, bright streaks of searing energy, had ripped through their hulls with terrifying precision. The attack had come out of nowhere, swift and merciless. Never before had a species dared to retaliate against the Empire so brazenly. His crimson eyes narrowed as he processed the implications. "Analysis," Crix barked, his voice cutting through the tense silence on the bridge. "What kind of weapon was that? Where did it originate? Lieutenant Zink hurriedly scanned the data streaming across her console. Unknown energy signature. Sir, it doesn't match any known technology in our database. Preliminary scans suggest it may be localized, possibly ground-based. Crix growled low in his throat. Ground-based weapons. These humans were supposed to be primitives, incapable of mounting a credible defense. Yet here they were, striking back with firepower that rivaled, if not surpassed, the Vorthak fleet's own capabilities. For the first time in centuries, doubt crept into his mind. Was this conquest going to be as easy as he'd assumed? On Earth, humanity watched the battle unfold with a mixture of awe and terror. Live footage of the skirmish dominated every news channel, social media platform, and public screen. Videos showed bright flashes erupting in the sky as plasma cannons fired, followed by explosions that lit up the darkness of space. People cheered wildly in some places, while others prayed silently, hoping this newfound strength would be enough to protect them. At Site Omega, General Marcus Hale stood alongside Dr. Elena Vasquez, monitoring the situation from their secure command center. Screens displayed real-time feeds of the orbital battle, along with telemetry data from Earth's defenses. The general's expression was grim but resolute. "That'll buy us some time," Hale said, nodding toward the monitor showing the destroyed Vorthak ships. "But we can't keep trading blows like this. Their numbers are too great." Elena nodded in agreement. "We've got one advantage. They don't know what else we're capable of. Let's use that to our benefit. Keep them guessing." Back aboard Vengeance's shadow, Crix made a decision. He couldn't afford to waste more ships probing Earth's defenses blindly. If these humans had managed to develop advanced weaponry, there was no telling what other surprises they might have in store. But retreat wasn't an option, not for the proud Vorthak Empire. Instead, he ordered a full-scale assault on Earth's largest cities, hoping to overwhelm their defenses and force surrender. "Launch all fighters and bombers," Crix commanded. "Target their shield generators. Once those are down, nothing will stop us from obliterating their surface." Dozens of sleek Vorthak fighters surged forward, accompanied by larger bomber ships bristling with heavy artillery. They descended toward Earth's atmosphere, their engines leaving trails of fire against the blackness of space. Humanity held its breath as the invaders approached. But humanity wasn't defenseless. High above the planet, swarms of autonomous drones launched from hidden bunkers, intercepting the incoming wave of enemy ships. Equipped with reverse-engineered alien tech, these drones moved faster and reacted quicker than anything the Vorthaks had ever encountered. They darted between the enemy craft, firing precise bursts of energy that crippled or destroyed their targets. The battle raged fiercely. Explosions erupted in dazzling displays of light as drones clashed with Vorthak fighters. Pilots screamed over comms as their ships spiraled out of control, crashing into the atmosphere below. On the ground, human fighter pilots joined the fray, piloting hybrid aircraft powered by anti-gravity drives adapted from the alien artifact. These nimble machines danced around the lumbering Vorthak bombers, unleashing barrages of missiles and plasma bolts. For every drone lost, 2 Vorthak ships fell. The invaders' numerical superiority began to dwindle under the relentless assault. Back on the bridge of Vengeance's shadow, Crix watched in growing frustration. How could these humans, these supposedly primitive creatures, possess such sophisticated tactics and technology? As the battle reached its crescendo, a daring squadron of human pilots executed a risky maneuver. Sacrificing themselves, they lured a group of Vorthak bombers into a trap set by plasma cannons positioned near Tokyo. The resulting explosion vaporized the bombers and sent shockwaves rippling through the remaining fleet. Humanity had struck its first decisive blow. The Vorthaks reeled, their confidence shaken, and somewhere deep within Site Omega, Elena allowed herself a fleeting moment of hope. This fight wasn't over yet. But for the first time, victory felt possible. As the dust settled from the first major engagement, humanity found itself standing tall against an enemy that had once seemed invincible. The Vorthak fleet, though battered, still outnumbered Earth's forces significantly. But what the invaders lacked in numbers, humanity made up for with sheer ingenuity and adaptability. Unknown to Admiral Crix, Project Aegis wasn't just about defense, it was about evolution. General Marcus Hale stood in the command center of Site Omega, staring at a live feed of the orbital battle. His sharp eyes scanned the data streaming across multiple screens. Drone losses, energy reserves, shield integrity. Despite the recent victory, he knew they couldn't afford complacency. "We've got one shot at this," he muttered under his breath. Turning to Dr. Elena Vasquez, who was busy analyzing telemetry from the battle, he asked, "What else have we got?" Elena didn't look up immediately, her fingers flying over a keyboard as she pulled up schematics of their remaining assets. Finally, she turned to him with a determined glint in her eye. "Autonomous drones are holding steady, but they're taking heavy losses. Our plasma cannons are online, but targeting systems need recalibration. And," she hesitated briefly before continuing, "we've got the mecha units." Hale raised an eyebrow. "The prototypes. Are they ready?" "They'll have to be," Elena replied grimly. "If we don't deploy them now, we might not get another chance." The mecha suits, codenamed Titans, were among humanity's most ambitious creations. Standing at 30 feet tall, these mechanical warriors combine brute strength with advanced AI systems inspired by the alien artifact. Piloted by elite soldiers trained to handle their immense power, the Titans were designed for close-quarters combat and could withstand significant damage while dishing out devastating blows. Meanwhile, on the surface, ordinary citizens rallied behind the revelation of Earth's hidden defenses. Governments worldwide released carefully edited footage showcasing the mecha suits, autonomous drones, and plasma cannons in action. Social media erupted with pride and defiance. Videos of human pilots engaging Vorthek fighters went viral, accompanied by hashtags like #EarthUnites and #NotToday. Even children joined the effort, creating decoy signals using DIY kits distributed online to confuse enemy sensors. In space, the Vortheks regrouped, their earlier arrogance replaced by cautious frustration. Admiral Crix paced the bridge of Vengeance's shadow, his mind racing. Humanity's tactics were unlike anything he'd ever encountered. They adapted quickly, countering every move with precision and creativity. It was infuriating and terrifying. For centuries, the Vorthek Empire had relied on overwhelming force to crush resistance. Now they faced an opponent who refused to play by the rules. "Launch another wave," Crix ordered through gritted teeth. "Focus on disabling their ground-based weapons. If we can cripple their ability to strike back, we win." Dozens of Vorthek bombers surged toward Earth once again, intent on destroying the plasma cannons and shield generators protecting the cities. But this time, they met a new kind of resistance. Rising from hidden bunkers came the Titans, their massive frames gleaming under the sunlight as they stepped onto the battlefield. Pilots inside the suits communicated seamlessly with eye-controlled drones, coordinating attacks with surgical precision. One Titan leaped into the air, its thrusters propelling it directly into the path of a Vorthek bomber. With a single punch, it tore through the ship's hull, sending it spiraling into the atmosphere. Another Titan used its arm-mounted plasma cannon to blast apart a group of enemy fighters attempting to flank the drones. The sight of these towering machines battling alien ships filled humans watching below with awe and hope. Back aboard Vengeance's shadow, Crix watched the chaos unfold with mounting dread. These humans weren't just fighting. They were innovating, improvising, and pushing back harder than anyone had anticipated. He clenched his fists, realizing too late that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its technology or firepower. It was its spirit, the indomitable will to survive. And for the first time, the mighty Vorthek Empire began to falter. The skies above Earth burned with light and fury as humanity's forces clashed with the Vorthek fleet in a desperate bid for survival. Plasma bolts streaked across the atmosphere, leaving trails of fire that illuminated clouds from within. Explosions erupted like fireworks, their brilliance masking the deadly reality of war. For every ship destroyed, another took its place, and the invaders showed no signs of retreat. But neither did humanity. Admiral Crix paced the bridge of Vengeance's shadow, his sharp claws clicking against the metal floor with each step. The battle wasn't going as planned. His bombers had been decimated by those monstrous mecha suits, Titans, the humans called them. And swarms of autonomous drones continued to harass his remaining fighters. Worse still, Earth's plasma cannons were proving devastatingly effective, tearing through his ships with relentless precision. "They're targeting our command links," Lieutenant Zink reported, her voice tinged with urgency. "If they sever communication between the fleet and our central hub, we'll lose coordination." Crix snarled, his crimson eyes flashing with anger. "Redirect all available power to communication shielding, and send reinforcements to the Eastern Hemisphere. They're focusing too much firepower there." But even as he issued orders, humanity struck again. In Tokyo, a squadron of Titans worked in perfect harmony with AI-controlled drones, forming an impenetrable wall of defense. Pilots inside the mecha suits communicated seamlessly, their movements synchronized by advanced neural interfaces. When a group of Vorthek bombers broke through the drone swarm, two Titans stepped forward, raising their arm-mounted plasma cannons. Twin beams of energy lanced upward, obliterating the enemy ships in a blinding flash. "Keep pushing," shouted Captain Akira Tanaka, one of the lead pilots controlling a Titan. His voice echoed over the comms, rallying his team. "We can't let them regroup." Meanwhile, high-altitude dogfights raged between human fighter jets and Vorthek scouts. The hybrid aircraft, powered by reverse-engineered anti-gravity drives, darted through the chaos with unmatched agility. Human pilots executed maneuvers that seemed impossible, spinning and looping around slower-moving alien ships before unleashing barrages of missiles. Each hit sent shockwaves rippling through the battlefield, scattering debris into the void. On the ground, civilians watched the spectacle unfold with bated breath. News helicopters captured footage of the aerial combat, broadcasting it live to millions around the world. Social media buzzed with messages of support for the pilots and soldiers risking everything to protect Earth. Memes depicting Titans punching alien ships went viral, accompanied by captions like, "Not today," "Space jerks." Even children joined in, creating paper models of the mecha suits and staging mock battles in schoolyards. Back aboard Vengeance's shadow, Crix's frustration boiled over. He slammed his fist onto the control panel, denting the surface. "This isn't possible," he roared. "How are these primitives outmaneuvering us? Outsmarting us?" Lieutenant Zink hesitated before answering. "Sir, perhaps they've learned from our tactics. Their adaptability. It's unprecedented." Crix growled but said nothing. Deep down, he knew she was right. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were learning, evolving, and countering every move the Vortex made. It was infuriating and terrifying. As the battle reached its climax, a daring maneuver turned the tide. A squad of human pilots lured a cluster of Vorthek bombers into a trap set by plasma cannons positioned near Rio de Janeiro. As the enemy ships descended, believing they had found a weak point in Earth's defenses, the cannons fired simultaneously. A massive explosion lit up the horizon, vaporizing the bombers and sending shockwaves rippling through the remaining fleet. Humanity cheered at the victory, but the cost was high. Several Titans lay disabled on the ground, their pilots injured or worse. Dozens of drones had been destroyed, and shield generators across multiple cities flickered under the strain. Yet despite the losses, hope burned brighter than ever. General Marcus Hale stood inside Omega's command center, watching the aftermath unfold. "We've bought ourselves some time," he said quietly, turning to Dr. Elena Vasquez. "But this isn't over yet." Elena nodded, her expression grim but resolute. "No, it's not. But if we keep hitting them like this, maybe we can win." For the first time, Admiral Crix began to doubt whether the Vorthek Empire would emerge victorious. Humanity had proven itself far more dangerous than anyone could have imagined, and the skies above Earth remained a battleground where anything was possible. Admiral Crix paced the bridge of Vengeance's shadow, his crimson eyes blazing with frustration. The battle above Earth had turned into a nightmare, a relentless, chaotic struggle against an enemy that refused to yield. Every strategy he'd employed had been countered, every assault repelled with brutal efficiency. Worse still, humanity's defiance only seemed to grow stronger with each passing day. Mockery and memes mocked him across their primitive networks, turning what should have been a swift conquest into a humiliating stalemate. "We cannot continue like this," Crix snarled, slamming his fist onto the control panel. "Bring me options, anything that will end this farce." Lieutenant Zink hesitated before speaking, her voice cautious but firm. "There is one option left, Admiral. The Leviathan." Crix froze, his claws digging into the metal surface as he processed her words. The Leviathan, the crown jewel of the Vorthek fleet, was a colossal mothership bristling with enough firepower to level entire continents. Its deployment was reserved for only the most dire situations, a symbol of overwhelming might meant to crush any resistance instantly. Activating it would signal to the Empire's rulers that Crix had failed to subdue Earth through conventional means. But at this point, failure was inevitable unless drastic measures were taken. "Prepare the Leviathan," Crix ordered, his tone icy. "If these humans want war, we'll give them extinction." Far below, on Earth, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly within Site Omega to prepare for the next phase of defense. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in front of a massive holographic display showing real-time data from the battlefield. Her sharp gaze darted between screens tracking Vorthek movements and schematics of Earth's remaining assets. She knew something big was coming. Their sensors had detected unusual energy signatures emanating from deep within the alien fleet. Something enormous was powering up. "General Hale," Elena said urgently, turning to Marcus, who stood nearby studying tactical maps. "They're preparing something massive. It's not just another wave. It's a game changer." Hale frowned, his weathered face tightening with concern. "How much time do we have?" "Minutes, maybe less," Elena replied grimly. "But there's one thing they don't know about yet, the Gaia Cannon." The Gaia Cannon was Project Aegis's ultimate weapon, a planet-wide superweapon powered by geothermal energy harvested from Earth's core. Designed as a last resort, it channeled unimaginable amounts of power into a single beam capable of cutting through even the strongest materials. However, activating it came with risks. Drawing such immense energy could destabilize tectonic plates, potentially causing earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Yet if they didn't use it now, humanity might not survive long enough to worry about natural disasters. "We've got no choice," Hale said firmly. "Activate the cannon and target whatever they're sending our way." Elena nodded and relayed the order to her team. Deep beneath the surface, engineers initiated the final protocols, rerouting power grids and synchronizing generators. Above ground, shield generators hummed louder than ever, reinforcing barriers around major cities in anticipation of the coming attack. Then it appeared, the Leviathan. Emerging from the depths of the Vorthek fleet, the monstrous ship dwarfed everything else in orbit. Its jagged hull glinted menacingly under the sunlight, while rows of plasma cannons along its spine charged ominously. As it descended toward Earth, Admiral Crix watched with grim satisfaction. Surely, nothing could withstand this behemoth. But humanity wasn't done fighting back. With a deafening roar, the Gaia cannon fired, unleashing a blinding beam of pure energy that pierced the atmosphere. The light illuminated half the planet as the beam struck the Leviathan dead center, slicing through its reinforced hull like paper. Explosions rippled across the massive vessel, tearing it apart piece by piece until nothing remained but a fiery cloud of debris. For a moment, silence fell over both sides. On board Vengeance's shadow, Crix stared in disbelief at the destruction of his prized weapon. Below, humanity erupted in cheers, watching as the remnants of the Leviathan burned harmlessly in space. Earth had struck its greatest blow yet, and proved once again that it would not go quietly into the night. The destruction of the Leviathan sent shockwaves, not just through space, but through the very core of the Vorthok Empire's pride. Admiral Crix stood frozen on the bridge of Vengeance's shadow, his claws trembling as he stared at the holoscreen displaying the smoldering wreckage of what had been their most powerful weapon. The once mighty ship was now nothing more than a cloud of debris drifting aimlessly in orbit around Earth. For the first time in centuries, fear crept into the hearts of the Vorthok crew. This isn't possible," Lieutenant Zink stammered, her glowing green eyes wide with disbelief. "How could they?" Crix cut her off with a sharp growl. "Silence." His voice echoed across the bridge, silencing the murmurs of panic spreading among the officers. He clenched his fists until his claws pierced his palms, drawing blood. Humanity wasn't supposed to win. They were primitives, insects beneath the boot of the Empire. Yet here they were, not only surviving but dismantling everything the Vorthax threw at them. On Earth, humanity erupted in celebration. Cities lit up with fireworks, streets filled with cheering crowds, and social media overflowed with messages of triumph. Videos of the Gaia cannon firing went viral, accompanied by captions like, "Boom! Bye-bye, Leviathan." Even children joined in, reenacting the battle with toys and cardboard spaceships. It was a moment of unity unlike anything the planet had ever seen, a shared victory against an unimaginable threat. But deep within Site Omega, General Marcus Hale remained grimly focused. Standing beside Dr. Elena Vasquez in the command center, he watched the sensor readings showing the remaining Vorthok ships regrouping. "They're not done yet," he said, his voice low and steady. "Even cornered animals lash out." Elena nodded, her expression tense. "You're right. They'll try to flee, and if they escape, they'll come back stronger next time. We can't let that happen." Hale turned to her sharply. "Do we have anything left to stop them?" She hesitated for a moment before answering. "We've got experimental warp disruptors. They're untested, but if we deploy them correctly, we might be able to trap the fleet here long enough to finish them off." "Then do it," Hale ordered without hesitation. "No survivors." Back aboard Vengeance's shadow, Crix made a decision. With the Leviathan destroyed and his fleet decimated, retreat was the only option. Pride be damned, he couldn't afford to lose any more ships or face the wrath of the Vorthok Council. Activating the fleet's hyperspace engines, he prepared to make a hasty exit, but as the ships began charging their drives, alarms blared across the bridge. "What's happening?" Crix demanded, spinning toward Zink. "It's some kind of interference," she replied, frantically scanning her console. "Our hyperspace systems are being jammed." Below, humanity launched its final gambit. From hidden bunkers around the globe, teams activated the experimental warp disruptors, creating localized fields that prevented the Vorthok ships from escaping via hyperspace. Trapped in Earth's orbit, the invaders had nowhere to run. Human forces seized the opportunity. Plasma cannons fired relentlessly, picking off smaller ships one by one. Mecha suits and fighter jets worked together to dismantle larger cruisers, while autonomous drones swarmed the remaining vessels, overwhelming their defenses. The battlefield became a chaotic inferno of explosions and collapsing hulls. Desperate, Crix attempted to negotiate. Over open channels, he broadcast a plea for mercy. "Spare my life, and I will offer peace. My fleet is defeated. You have won." But humanity refused to listen. History had taught them that mercy shown to invaders often came at a terrible cost. Instead, General Hale gave the order to fire a final barrage. Bright streaks of energy lanced through space, targeting Vengeance's shadow. The flagship shuddered under the assault, its shields collapsing as plasma bolts tore through its hull. Within moments, the mighty vessel exploded in a brilliant flash of light, scattering debris across the void. As the last Vorthak ship was destroyed, Silence fell over the battlefield. On Earth, people paused to take in the magnitude of what they'd achieved. Against all odds, humanity had defended itself against an empire that had dominated the stars for centuries. Admiral Crix's failure would echo throughout the galaxy, a warning to any who dared underestimate Earth. And for humanity, a new chapter began, one where they would no longer cower in the shadows, but step boldly into the cosmos, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The skies above Earth were quiet once again, the silence broken only by the hum of shield generators powering down and the distant cheers of humanity celebrating its improbable victory. For days, news outlets replayed footage of the final battle, the fiery destruction of Vengeance's shadow, the collapse of the Vorthek fleet, and the triumphant faces of pilots stepping out of Titans after their last mission. It was a moment etched into history, not just as a fight for survival, but as proof that humanity could rise to meet even the greatest challenges. In cities around the world, monuments were erected to honor those who had sacrificed everything. Names of fallen soldiers, engineers, and civilians filled digital walls of remembrance projected onto skyscrapers. Children drew pictures of mecha suits punching alien ships, while adults shared stories of how ordinary people had come together to protect their planet. Social media buzzed with hashtags like #EarthUnites and #NeverForget, reminders that unity had been humanity's greatest weapon. Governments worldwide convened emergency summits to discuss the aftermath. Leaders who had once argued over borders and resources now worked side by side, united by the shared struggle against the Vortex. The existence of extraterrestrial life and the advanced technology humanity had developed prompted rapid advancements in science, philosophy, and global policy. Questions swirled. Who had built the artifact buried beneath Antarctica? Were there other threats lurking in the stars? And most importantly, what role would Earth play in the wider galaxy? At Site Omega, Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the command center, staring at monitors showing data from the now silent battlefield. Her mind raced with possibilities. "This changes everything," she murmured, turning to General Marcus Hale. "We've proven we can defend ourselves, but this is just the beginning. If more aliens come, if they're watching, we need to be ready." Hale nodded, his expression thoughtful. "You're right. This wasn't just about surviving today. It's about preparing for tomorrow. We've got a lot of work ahead of us." Meanwhile, on the surface, humanity began rebuilding. Cities damaged during the invasion were repaired, and new infrastructure projects sprang up inspired by reverse-engineered alien tech. Schools introduced courses on astrophysics and interstellar diplomacy, preparing younger generations for a future among the stars. Entrepreneurs launched startups focused on space exploration and defense systems, sparking an economic boom fueled by innovation. But amidst the celebration, questions lingered. Deep within hidden bunkers, scientists continued studying the ancient artifact that had saved them. Its secrets remained partially unlocked, hinting at technologies far beyond anything humanity currently understood. Some speculated it might hold clues about its creators, or warnings about other civilizations capable of threatening Earth. Philosophers debated humanity's place in the cosmos. Had they fought off the Vortex only to invite retaliation from others? Or was this victory a chance to step onto the galactic stage as equals, rather than victims? Artists captured the mood in murals depicting humanity reaching toward the stars, while poets wrote verses about courage, resilience, and hope. As weeks turned into months, Earth began looking outward. Satellites equipped with advanced sensors scanned nearby star systems for signs of life. Experimental spacecraft powered by anti-gravity drives ventured beyond the moon, testing humanity's readiness to explore deeper into space. The galaxy was vast and unknown, but for the first time, humans felt bold enough to take the first steps. Admiral Crix's failure served as both a warning and an inspiration. To the Vorthek Empire, it was a humiliating defeat, a reminder that arrogance could lead to downfall. But to humanity, it was a call to action. They had faced annihilation and emerged victorious, proving that Earth was no longer a silent planet waiting to be discovered. It was a force to be reckoned with. And so, as dawn broke over a newly united Earth, humanity looked to the horizon, not with fear, but with determination. The stars beckoned, full of mystery and danger, but also opportunity. Whatever lay ahead, one thing was certain: humanity would face it together, armed with ingenuity, courage, and an unshakable will to survive. The galaxy had underestimated Earth once. It wouldn't make that mistake again.